was a normal summer day in Texas where children played and laughed without a care in the world. At Camp Mystic, tucked away in the beautiful hill country, every moment was an adventure waiting to happen. The sun shone brightly, glinting off the cool, clear waters of the Guadalupe River, a perfect escape from the summer heat. You could hear the joyful shouts and splashes as campers dove in, their laughter echoing through the cypress trees. It's a sound that defines summer itself, pure, unadulterated happiness. Over on the fields, a spirited game of capture the flag was underway. Teams strategized, ran with all their might, and cheered each other on, building bonds that would last long after the summer ended. But Camp Mystic is more than just games and swimming. It's a place where lifelong friendships are forged. You do see it in the quiet moments, two friends sharing a secret on the porch of their cabin, or a group huddled together, learning a new song on the ukulele. These are the moments that stick, the memories that campers carry with them year after year. In the craft lodge, creativity was in full swing. Campers were focused, their hands busy with paint, clay, and beads, each creating a small masterpiece to take home. It's a place to discover new talents, to try something you've never done before, all in a supportive and encouraging environment. From horseback riding through scenic trails to reaching new heights on the climbing wall, every day brought a new challenge and a new reason to be proud. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the camp, everyone gathered around the campfire. With guitars strumming and voices rising in song, the sense of community was stronger than ever. Stories were told, s'mores were toasted to perfection, and under a blanket of stars, another perfect day at Camp Mystic came to a close. This isn't just a camp. It's a summer home, a tradition, a place where the magic of childhood is alive and well. Thanks for joining us on this little trip to Camp Mystic. If you enjoyed this glimpse into summer camp life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories. See you next time. What started as a perfect summer day, full of laughter and sunshine, was about to take a terrifying turn. You know those days where everything just feels right? We were deep in the heart of nature, setting up what we thought would be an unforgettable week of camp. The kids were buzzing with excitement, friendships were already starting to form, and the air was filled with the promise of adventure. We'd scouted the location for weeks, a beautiful valley nestled by a gentle, meandering creek. It was idyllic, a picture-perfect setting for making lifelong memories. But the skies quickly darkened as a sudden flash flood threatened everything. It happened so fast. One moment, we were telling stories around a crackling campfire, and the next, a deep rumble echoed through the valley. It wasn't the kind of thunder you hear before a gentle rain. This was different, angrier. The wind whipped through the trees, tearing at our tents, and the creek we'd admired just hours before began to swell, its calm surface churning into a muddy, raging torrent. Panic started to set in as the water rose with alarming speed, creeping closer and closer to our campsite. We had to think fast. The safety of every single child was our top priority. We had a plan, we had drills, but nothing can truly prepare you for the raw power of nature unleashed. With the water rising around our ankles, we gathered the kids, trying to keep our voices calm to mask the fear we all felt. We initiated our emergency evacuation protocol, a race against time and the rising tide. Every second counted. We formed a human chain, guiding the campers through the treacherous, muddy terrain towards higher ground, the roar of the floodwaters deafening our ears. In those moments, you see the best of humanity. Older kids helping the younger ones, staff members putting themselves in harm's way, everyone working together as a single, determined unit. It wasn't about being a hero. It was about being a community, a family, bound by a shared crisis. We made it to safety, shaken but unharmed, huddled together on a rocky outcrop, watching the floodwaters reclaim the valley where our camp once stood. It was a harrowing experience, a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable power, but it also showed us the incredible strength and resilience we have when we stand together. Thank you so much for watching our story. If you were moved by this journey, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more real-life adventures. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're looking at a story that turns an idyllic camping trip into a terrifying fight for survival. Imagine this. You're nestled in a peaceful valley, surrounded by nature, the gentle sound of a nearby stream lulling you to sleep. That was the scene for dozens of families and campers, a perfect getaway from the hustle and bustle of city life. But in the wild, tranquility can be deceiving, and the weather can turn in an instant. What started as a light drizzle soon became a torrential downpour. Unbeknownst to the campers, the gentle stream was swelling, fed by a massive volume of rain upstream. It was a recipe for a flash flood, one of the most unpredictable and dangerous natural events. The water began to rise, not gradually, but with shocking speed. What was once a dry path became a raging torrent. The creek banks disappeared, and the water started creeping into the campsite itself, first soaking the ground, then pooling around the tents. Panic set in. The sound of children's frightened cries mixed with the roar of the rapidly rising water. Tents, coolers, and camping chairs were swept away, tossed around like toys in the powerful current. People were scrambling, trying to get to higher ground, but the water was everywhere. In mere minutes, the entire campground was submerged, trapping children and adults alike. It was a desperate situation, a life and death struggle against the raw power of nature. People were clinging to trees, to the roofs of their cars, anything to stay above the churning, muddy water. Emergency responders were immediately dispatched, but the conditions were treacherous. The roads were washed out, and the current was too strong for simple rescue attempts. This is where the true heroes of our story emerge, the specialized swiftwater rescue teams. These brave individuals, equipped with inflatable boats and specialized gear, navigated the dangerous floodwaters, plucking stranded campers from the perilous situation one by one. It was a race against time, with every minute counting. But thanks to their courage and expertise, what could have been a massive tragedy was averted, and every single person was brought to safety. This event serves as a powerful reminder. Always check the weather forecast, be aware of your surroundings, especially near water, and never underestimate the power of nature. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story compelling, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories of survival and heroism. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story of courage, a trial by fire that tested one rookie against the full fury of the sea. Picture this: Kodiak, Alaska. A place where the wild, unforgiving ocean meets rugged land. It's here that 26-year-old Coast Guard rookie Scott Ruskin was just settling in. Fresh out of training, he was the new guy at the helicopter base, eager to prove himself but still learning the ropes. He'd spent weeks preparing, running drills, and imagining the day he'd finally be called into action. He just never imagined it would come so soon or be so intense. The call crackled over the radio. A fishing vessel, the Alaskan Pride, was in deep trouble. Caught in a brutal storm hundreds of miles from shore, its engine had failed, leaving it at the mercy of monstrous waves. For the crew on board, it was a desperate situation. For Scott Ruskin, this wasn't a drill anymore. This was his very first mission. As he scrambled to gear up, a mix of adrenaline and nerves surged through him. You can see it in the photos from that day, the look of pure determination on his young face. This wasn't just about following orders, it was about saving lives. Alongside his experienced crew, Scott boarded the helicopter, its rotors slicing through the howling wind. and they ascended into the heart of the storm. Flying into that tempest was like entering another world. Visibility was almost zero, with rain and sea spray lashing against the cockpit window. Below them, the ocean was a churning chaos of dark, angry water. Finding a small boat in that massive, violent expanse seemed like an impossible task. Every minute that ticked by, the chances for the stranded fishermen grew slimmer. The pressure was immense, but the team held their focus, their eyes scanning the waves, searching for any sign of the Alaskan pride. Then, a flicker of light, they'd found them. The boat was being tossed around like a toy, on the brink of being swallowed by the sea. Now came the hardest part, the rescue. Scott's role was critical. He would be the one lowered down on a thin cable, a lifeline between the relative safety of the chopper and the chaos below. As he prepared to descend, his commander gave him a final steady look. It was a silent acknowledgement. The lives of those fishermen, and his own, now depended on his training and his courage. This was the moment of truth for the rookie from Kodiak. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales of heroism. We'll see you in the next one. The roar of the helicopter blades was nothing compared to the fury of the water below. From our vantage point in the sky, the world looked like it had been swallowed by an angry brown ocean. Entire neighborhoods, places where families laughed and children played just days ago, were now submerged. It was a scene of utter devastation. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the steady whir of the rotor. My name is Scott, and my mission was clear. Find those who were trapped, those who were desperately holding on to hope. My eyes scanned the chaotic landscape, a mosaic of rooftops, treetops, and churning currents. It's a strange feeling being so high above a disaster. You feel detached, like you're watching a movie, but then you see it a flash of color, a movement, a sign of life, and the reality hits you like a physical blow. Down there, people were fighting for their lives. There, I pointed, my voice tight. A family was huddled on the roof of their car, the water rising steadily around them. The fear on their faces was visible even from this distance. Our pilot, a veteran with nerves of steel, began our descent. The wind from the blades whipped the water into a frenzy, making an already terrifying situation even more precarious. Every second felt like an hour. We had to be fast, but we also had to be precise. One wrong move could be catastrophic. As the rescue hoist lowered, I gave the family a thumbs up, trying to project a calm I didn't entirely feel. Their small children, wrapped in blankets, stared up at us with wide, uncertain eyes. Getting them aboard was a delicate, high-stakes dance. Each person was a victory, a life pulled back from the brink. Once they were safely inside, the relief was palpable, but it was short-lived. The search wasn't over. As we ascended, my gaze was already back on the water, searching for the next person, the next family clinging to survival. In moments like these, you witness the worst of nature, but you also see the absolute best of humanity, the resilience, the courage, and the unbreakable will to help one another. Thank you for watching our story. If you were moved by this journey, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that highlights the courage and compassion found in the most challenging of times. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that proves heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they're just ordinary people who step up when disaster strikes. We're going to talk about a man named Scott, whose quick thinking and incredible courage saved dozens of lives. The day started like any other, but soon the waters began to rise, turning a calm community into a scene of chaos. As the currents grew stronger, panic set in. But amid the confusion, one person remained a beacon of calm. That person was Scott. He didn't hesitate. He knew what he had to do. You can see it in this footage here. Look at the focus, the determination. Scott is carefully guiding people into rescue boats, his movements steady and reassuring, even as the water rages around them. He's organizing, directing, and creating a lifeline for those trapped by the floodwaters. And then there are moments like this. Watch as he wades into the powerful current, his own safety on the line. He gently lifts his small child from the rising water and carries them through the churning rapids. Each step is a battle against the force of nature, but his resolve never wavers. With calm focus and precise actions, he rescued the first wave of children and adults, getting them to the safety of the boats. You can see the relief wash over the faces of parents as their children are lifted to safety. In those slow motion shots, you're not just seeing a rescue, you're seeing hope being restored. It's a powerful reminder that in the darkest of times, the strength of the human spirit shines brightest. Scott wasn't a trained rescuer, just a neighbor who saw a need and refused to stand by. His actions that day saved so many, turning a potential tragedy into a story of incredible bravery. Stories like Scott's inspire us all to be a little kinder, a little braver, and to look out for one another. Thank you so much for watching and sharing in this incredible story. If you were moved by Scott's heroism, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. See you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-diving into a story that truly tests the limits of human endurance and the will to survive against all odds. Imagine the unimaginable. A cataclysmic event has just torn through a once thriving city. The world as you know it is gone, replaced by a churning, unforgiving sea of debris and chaos. This is the reality a handful of survivors now face. In the midst of this devastation, one man, Scott, becomes their unlikely beacon of hope. From a high vantage point, armed with only a pair of binoculars, he scans the horizon. The scene is heartbreaking. Water surges violently, tossing remnants of buildings and lives like toys. It's a landscape of pure destruction. But then, through the lenses, he sees it, a flicker of movement. He adjusts the focus, his heart pounding in his chest. There, clinging desperately to splintered pieces of wood and floating wreckage, are people. Small, isolated groups scattered across the vast, watery expanse. He identified isolated pockets of survivors, each second critical. For them, hope is fading with the daylight. They are cold, exhausted, and completely alone. Scott knows time is their greatest enemy. Every wave that crashes over them, every minute that ticks by, pushes them closer to the edge. He can see the fear in their eyes, even from a distance. The sheer scale of the disaster is overwhelming, and the resources are non-existent. How can one person possibly make a difference against such a monumental tragedy? But in moments like these, the human spirit can be a powerful force. Scott isn't a superhero. He's an ordinary person faced with an extraordinary challenge. He has to make a choice. Turn away from the impossible, or risk everything for a chance, however slim, to save a life. What he does next is a testament to the courage that lies within all of us. He begins to formulate a plan, a desperate, high-stakes gamble. The survivors he's spotted are miles apart, each group facing its own immediate peril. He knows he can't save everyone, a gut-wrenching realization, but he also knows he has to try. The rescue is not just about physical strength. It's a battle against time, despair, and the raw power of nature itself. This story is a powerful reminder of how fragile life is, but also how incredibly resilient we can be when faced with the absolute worst. It makes you ask yourself, what would you do in his shoes? We're going to follow Scott's journey and witness the incredible fight for survival. If you find stories of courage and resilience as compelling as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Scene opens with a tense, focused atmosphere. We hear the crackle of a radio. Scott's voice, calm but firm. Base, this is Rescue 1. We've got eyes on the target. Repeat, eyes on the target. Looks like they're in a precarious position on the North Ridge. How's our window looking? Split screen shows Scott, binoculars in hand, surveying a dangerous cliffside, while the other side shows a helicopter crew inside, prepping ropes and harnesses with practiced efficiency. Radio voice, copy that, Rescue 1. Weather is closing in. You've got a 20-minute window, Max. I repeat, 20 minutes before conditions become non-viable. Scott's voiceover narration begins, layered over the action. In this line of work, there's no room for maybe. No space for I think so. Every single moment is a calculated risk. Every decision a potential turning point between a successful rescue and a tragedy. You're not just fighting the terrain or the weather. You're fighting the clock. And the clock is unforgiving. The split screen merges, focusing on the helicopter crew. One member gives a thumbs up. The sound of the chopper blades intensifies. Up here, communication is everything. It's our lifeline. The pilot needs to know my exact position, my intentions. The crew needs to anticipate the next move. We're a team connected by a headset and a shared mission. One garbled word, one misunderstood command, and the entire operation could fall apart. Close up on Scott's face, determination etched in his features. He takes a deep breath before speaking into his radio again. Scott into radio. All right, team. Let's get this done. I'm going to need a 100-foot static line on a direct drop. Pilot, I need you to hold steady. This is going to be tight. Let's bring them home. Scott's voiceover. You train for this over and over. You run drills until the movements are muscle memory. But nothing truly prepares you for the weight of that responsibility. The knowledge that someone's life is literally hanging in the balance, depending on your every move. Every decision had to be perfect. A small mistake could cost lives. It's a pressure that few can understand, but for us, it's just another day at the office. The helicopter hovers masterfully near the cliff face. A rescue line is lowered. You block out the fear. You focus on the task, on the person waiting for you. You trust your training, you trust your team, and you go to work. Because when the call comes, there's no hesitation. There's only the mission. The scene fades as the rescuer begins their descent. Thank you for watching and experiencing a glimpse into this intense world. If you're inspired by stories of courage and teamwork, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Stay safe out there. In the heart of the storm, as the river swelled into an unforgiving torrent, one man stood as a beacon of hope. His name is Scott, a name that would soon be etched into the memory of a small, terrified community. This is his story, a testament to the unyielding power of the human spirit in the face of nature's fury. The day began like any other, but the skies quickly darkened, unleashing a deluge that turned the gentle river into a monstrous, churning beast. Homes were swallowed and lives were thrown into chaos. Trapped by the rising waters, a family found themselves in a desperate situation. Their two young children, caught in the relentless current, were being pulled further and further from safety. Panic set in as their parents watched, helpless. Just when all hope seemed lost, Scott appeared. Without a moment's hesitation, he plunged into the treacherous, debris-filled water. The currents were brutal, fighting him every inch of the way. He battled through the ice-cold flood, his eyes fixed on the two small figures struggling to stay afloat. The community watched, their hearts in their throats, as he reached the first child, pulling them into a secure embrace. But the ordeal was far from over. As he fought his way back, a massive log, like a battering ram, hurtled towards them. At times, the raging flood seemed unstoppable, but Scott never wavered. With a surge of adrenaline, he maneuvered them just out of its path. He then turned back into the chaos, his resolve unbroken to rescue the second child. Each stroke was a battle, each breath a victory against the overwhelming force of the water. Scott's incredible bravery that day saved 2 young lives. He became a symbol of courage, a reminder that even in our darkest hours, the strength of one person can make all the difference. His selfless act of heroism will forever be a source of inspiration for his town and for all of us. Thank you for watching this incredible story of survival and courage. If you were moved by Scott's heroism, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Have you ever wondered what turns an ordinary person into a hero? Sometimes it's not a grand plan, but a single, split-second decision in the face of chaos. This is the story of Scott and a day that would forever define him. The morning began like any other, but the skies quickly turned menacing. The river, usually a gentle giant, began to swell with an unnatural fury. Warnings came, but for many, it was already too late. The water surged, swallowing homes and trapping families. Panic set in. From a safe vantage point, Scott watched the disaster unfold. He could have stayed put, secure and dry. But as he saw people clinging to rooftops, their cries for help lost in the roar of the water, something inside him snapped. He knew he couldn't just stand by. With nothing but a small boat and a heart full of courage, Scott launched himself into the churning, debris-filled water. The current was a monster, trying to drag him under, but his focus was singular, the faces in the distance. He navigated through the treacherous maze, his hands raw on the oars, his muscles screaming in protest. His first rescue was a young family, huddled together on what was left of their porch, a small child's eyes wide with terror. He pulled them aboard, their relief and gratitude a powerful fuel. But he didn't stop. He went back. Again and again and again. He pulled elderly couples from their attics, teenagers from treetops, and parents clutching their children. Each trip was a gamble against the rising tide and the failing light. He ignored his own exhaustion, the biting cold, and the constant danger. His only thought was the next life he could save. He became a beacon of hope in the murky water, a solitary figure rowing against the impossible. After hours of tireless effort, he had saved 165 lives, his first mission already legendary. He wasn't a trained rescuer or a professional. He was just a man who saw his neighbors in peril and refused to look away. Scott's story is a powerful reminder that heroism isn't about superpowers. It's about compassion, courage, and the choice to act when others need you most. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of incredible human spirit. See you in the next one. The storm raged for what felt like an eternity, turning a peaceful afternoon into a terrifying ordeal. Waves, like angry giants, crashed against the shore, swallowing everything in their path. A family, caught in the sudden fury of the ocean, found themselves stranded, their small boat tossed about like a toy. Panic set in as the relentless water pulled them further from safety. Hope was fading with the last light of day. But then a figure emerged from the churning chaos. It was Scott, a local lifeguard who was off duty, just enjoying a walk when the storm hit. Without a moment's hesitation, he plunged into the treacherous waves. He wasn't thinking about the danger. He was only thinking about the lives at stake. It was a battle against nature itself, a test of will and strength that pushed him to his absolute limits. He fought against the powerful currents, his every muscle screaming in protest, his lungs burning for air. One by one, he reached them. First, the 2 small children, their faces pale with fear. He secured them, his voice calm and reassuring amidst the storm's roar. Then he went back for their parents, guiding them through the debris-filled water, his focus unwavering. It was an act of incredible bravery, a testament to his training and his sheer determination to not let the ocean claim another victim. Finally, after what seemed like a lifetime, they reached the shore. Exhausted and battered, but alive. Families hugged, tears of relief streaming down their faces, a chaotic and beautiful scene of reunion. And there was Scott, standing a little to the side, soaking wet and utterly spent, but with a quiet calm in his eyes. He was hailed as a hero that day, a beacon of courage in the face of nature's wrath. But if you were to ask him, he'd just tell you he was doing what anyone would do. He was just doing his duty. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. See you next time. Courage isn't about glory. Sometimes it's about staying calm, taking action, and saving lives when it matters the most. This is the story of Scott Ruskin, the rookie who became a hero. When the floodwaters began their relentless rise, chaos was the only rule. For Scott, a rookie first responder just months into his career, this was the ultimate test. While others might have hesitated, he saw only one thing: people who needed help. His first call was a family trapped on their roof, the water swirling just inches below them. With determination etched on his face, Scott navigated his rescue boat through treacherous debris, his training kicking into high gear. One by one, he pulled them to safety, a scared child, her worried parents, their elderly grandmother. But he didn't stop there. Throughout the long, harrowing night, Scott went back into the flood zone again and again. He rescued a man stranded in his car, a couple isolated in their attic, and even a frightened dog paddling for its life. Each rescue was a race against time, a battle against the rising tide. Scott wasn't thinking about being a hero. He was just focused on the next person who needed him. In those critical hours, Scott Ruskin saved over a dozen lives. He wasn't looking for medals or recognition. His reward was the look of relief on the faces of those he brought to safety. He demonstrated that true heroism isn't about grand gestures, but about the quiet, steady resolve to do the right thing when everything goes wrong. Scott's story reminds us that in the darkest of times, the courage of one person can light the way for many. He's a testament to the idea that anyone, no matter how new or inexperienced, can make a monumental difference. Thank you for watching this story of incredible bravery. If you were inspired, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more stories of everyday heroes. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.